Hello guys and welcome back to Strawberry Inc. Today I will be discussing a sad incident that occurred in Florida. It is regarding a middle schooler named Tristyn Bailey. Tristyn was a 14-year-old girl from Singapore who was the youngest of 5 children. During her early childhood, she and her family moved to Florida. In 7th grade, she attended Patriots Oaks Academy and was in the school's cheerleading team. On the night of May 8, 2021, a 15-year-old boy from her school named Aiden Fucci asked his friend Dafis Apsher for Tristyn's phone number. At dawn the next day, Aiden called Tristyn and asked to meet up in their neighborhood. Around 1 a.m., they met up and took a walk together. Aiden was obsessed with murder and had been carrying a knife with him. They walked into the woods and he stabbed Tristyn to death, then left her body there. It was now around 3 a.m. and Aiden ran out of the woods back home. On May 9th, 2021, it was Mother's Day and Tristyn's parents were making breakfast. She was the only one who had not shown up for breakfast, so her siblings went to wake her up. They discovered that Tristyn was not even in bed, so they informed their mother. Tristyn's mother started looking around for her. They looked around the house and their area, but failed to find her. So the mother dialed 911 and called the police. Florida's St. Johns County Sheriff's Office reported her missing and started searching for her. They questioned residents in the area who were willing to show their home surveillance footage to police. The police noticed that at 1:45 a.m., one of the surveillance footage clips showed 2 people walking together. They were identified as Tristyn Bailey and Aiden Fucci, who both lived in the same neighborhood. Then at 3:27 a.m., the surveillance footage captured Aiden Fucci running back from where they came from by himself without Tristyn Bailey. He had been carrying a white pair of shoes. Detectives looked into the data of Tristyn Bailey's phone to see who she had been in contact with. The most recent interactions she had were with Aiden Fucci and their friend Dafis Apsher, who was nicknamed Trey. The school Tristyn attended confirmed that these 2 people whom she had contact with were her classmates. The police went to their homes and brought them to the St. Johns County Sheriff's Office station to interrogate them. Detectives Robert Maloney and Liam Stack interviewed them separately. Dafis Apsher told them that Aiden and Tristyn had hung out at their house around 1 a.m., then left together. Aiden Fucci confirmed being at his house and leaving with Tristyn around 1:10 a.m. He first claimed that they walked together until she turned to a different street to go home, and then he walked around the area until getting home at 3:30 a.m. The detectives knew that Dafis Apsher's home was at least 30 minutes away from Aiden's, so they continued to question him to learn why he took so long to get back home. Aiden changed his story, saying that him and Tristyn got into an argument because she had attempted to touch his penis, and that he pushed her away, which caused her to fall and hit her head. The detectives would continue investigating the disappearance of Tristyn Bailey. They let both Dafis Apsher and Aiden Fucci go for the time being. As they were driven back home by detectives, Aiden Fucci took pictures and videos on Snapchat. In one of the pictures he wrote, "Hey guys, has anybody seen Tristyn lately?" And in one of the videos, he claimed that they were having fun in a cop car. Later that day, at 6 p.m., a resident of the neighborhood was taking a walk in the woods and discovered Tristyn's body. This resident immediately called the police. The body was taken to the St. Johns County Medical Examiner's office, and an autopsy was conducted. At 8 p.m. that night, the body was confirmed to be Tristyn's, which is usually done through DNA testing or medical records. Her death was ruled a homicide by stabbing. She had been stabbed 114 times. 49 of those stab wounds were believed to have been caused due to her defending herself. On her left ankle, the word karma was written, and on her right ankle, a smiley face had been drawn. However, it was never known who wrote this on her body. The area became a crime scene and detectives searched the pond near the woods. A buck knife was found. It was damaged and the tip was missing. There was a piece of metal found in Tristyn's skull. It was then determined that the piece of metal was the tip of this knife that was damaged and found at the pond. Around midnight on May 10th, 2021, the police got a warrant to search Aiden's home. They showed up and forcefully entered the home, waking the Fucci family up. In Aiden's bedroom, the police found a sheath which matched the knife that had been used to kill Tristyn Bailey. They also found clothing with blood on it and took it in for examination. The police stayed in the home until they got more information regarding the bloody clothes. The clothes tested positive for blood, and so did the knife recovered at the pond. The blood was confirmed to be Tristyn Bailey's. Around 3 in the morning, Aiden Fucci was arrested and taken back to the police station for processing. He was then booked into the St. Johns County Juvenile Detention Center on a second-degree murder charge and was afterwards denied bail. At his home, drawings were recovered, showing an obsession with demons, violence, and murder. Aiden's DNA also matched a part of the DNA found on the knife that the police had recovered. His charge was then changed to first-degree murder. Friends of Aiden Fucci were questioned and claimed that he said he would take someone to the woods and stab them. One of them even claimed that Aiden would take his knife out and pretend to stab her at times. She also claimed that he would say that he was hearing voices in his head when he was angry. The state prosecutor in the case, R.J. Lareza, chose to have Aiden be tried as an adult. After this decision was made, Aiden was transferred to the Duval County Jail. He was detained here because this is usually where teenagers are held if they are charged as adults. Once all these changes in the case were made, prosecutor Jennifer Denton was next to take on the case. Aiden pleaded not guilty to the murder charge and was ordered to be held in jail without bond. Investigators found that a bloody pair of jeans that they collected had been partially washed with laundry detergent. They looked at surveillance footage from inside the Fucci family's home and found that his mother, Crystal Smith, had been the one who washed this pair of jeans. She was arrested on June 4th and surrendered to officers as they approached her home. After being processed in the police station where Aiden was interrogated, she was booked into the St. Johns County Jail and spent the night there. Crystal was released the next day on a $25,000 bail. She was charged with evidence tampering and pleaded not guilty. Tristyn Bailey's body was cremated and her funeral was held at the Celebration Church in Jacksonville, Florida, on May 19th, 2021. Aiden Fucci was represented by defense attorney Rosemary Peoples. His trial was delayed at once in 2022 to give the defense more time to prepare. The defense tried to delay the trial a second time, but this request was denied. On the first day of jury selection in February 2023, Aiden Fucci reached a plea deal. This deal would help him possibly avoid spending the rest of his life in prison if he got convicted. Florida State Judge Lee Smith accepted the deal and allowed Aiden to change his plea. Aiden pleaded guilty to his murder charge, and all of the potential jurors were sent home. Judge Lee Smith asked the attorneys to call witnesses to court on the sentencing day, just so it would be easier for him to decide on a life sentence. The following month, the sentencing phase of Aiden Fucci started. All witnesses that were supposed to testify in his trial were called to the stand during the sentencing, which lasted for several days. On Friday, March 24th, 2023, Aiden Fucci was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Due to him taking a plea deal, he has the right to have his sentencing revised after serving at least 25 years of it. Later that day, he was placed in the Suwannee Correctional Institution, a state prison in Live Oak, Florida. That is where he remains while he serves his sentence. Next up to go to trial was his mother, Crystal Smith, in April 2023. She was also prosecuted by Jennifer Dunton. However, her trial was delayed to another month, also to give attorneys time to get ready. Crystal was represented by defense attorney Matthew Kaczurgis. She reached a plea deal and intended to withdraw her not guilty plea. This decision was as well accepted by Judge Smith. On her first day of jury selection, she withdrew the not guilty plea and pleaded no contest to the evidence tampering charge instead. She was immediately sentenced to 30 days in jail. After sentencing, Crystal was handcuffed and taken back to the St. Johns County Jail, where she served her sentence. She as well received 5 years of probation as part of the deal. After being released from jail, she started her probation and is set to finish it on May 11th, 2028. Thank you for listening, and please share this podcast to someone you know who may be interested in true crime or any of the topics I cover. Don't forget to follow the podcast and like this episode for more content. Till next time, goodbye.